Hey guys, I'm Mark with the Ovalrc. I've been promising you guys Mudboss setup videos for a long time now. Well, the time has finally come, and that's where we're going to get started tonight. A couple months ago, I did a search on an AI app. It said, what would you like to see? And I punched in Mudboss. Well, it gave me two very muscular women wrestling in the mud. Yes, she could have been a boss, and they were definitely in the mud, but that was not the mud boss I was looking for. So last night I did another search, how to set up a mud boss. It gave me an AI-generated response, and I started reading through it. It looked really familiar, and right below that was my video, how to set up a mud boss. So very cool that AI is using my videos to show you guys how to set up your mud boss. But those videos are also a little outdated. We need to update that, and that's what we're going to do starting now. Now, this video here is called Buy Once, Cry Once, and that's because I have a lot of expensive stuff I'm going to show you that I feel is the best. Some you will agree with me, and I also have some stuff to show you for the beginners that maybe you can't afford that, but you want to get started in Mud Boss racing, and I'm going to show you the best way to do that too. So you can already see on the table, we have quite a few choices here to look at with the Traxxas Slash two-wheel drive trucks, and that's what you're going to need to build a Mud Boss. We have the brush motor one, the brushless version, and we also have the heavy-duty parts one. I'm not going to unbox these trucks, but I am going to briefly show you about them, and that way you can decide which one you'll need to build your Mud Boss, because you will see all three of these probably at your local hobby shop. So let's get started. This is How to Build a Mud Boss, episode number 1. The first model we're going to take a look at is a little bit older model, but it's probably still sitting on the shelf at your local hobby shop. This is model number 58024. It's going to look just like that, probably the same pattern, same design. Different colors, of course, but the body will be the same. And the chassis will also look the same, and you can use this in the Mud Boss class currently today. This one here will come with the 12T brushed motor. It will be sitting right back here. Now, I do have this motor out because I'm changing it over to the BL-2S brushless motor. When you do that, then you're going to need to change out the electronic speed controller too, and that costs about $100. So keep that in mind if you're buying a 12T brushed motor. Now, some of the changes I've seen over the years, the earlier models came with shoulder bolts up in the front and didn't have a lot of room for these shocks to move. Now these shock caps have these little metal balls inside them, so that can move around a little bit. I think maybe that helps saves the shock caps. Other than that, everything else is the same. Now, this model here does come with the Kumo tires, has the hard compound on. I really like these tires. Shave these down a little bit. That'll give you some fast times on some high bite dirt. You can also get the S1 compound in the Kumos if you're running on loose dirt. That also works very well too. Okay, so moving forward, if you're looking for the latest and greatest from the Traxxas website, what will be available now is the two-wheel drive Traxxas Slash with the 12T brush motor, model number 58234-8. It'll have the new heavy-duty parts, the heavy-duty axles, heavy-duty rear bearing carriers, spindles, and heavy-duty front spindles. It'll also have the new clipless body mounting system on it, so that's important because you're going to have to remove that. You're going to need to buy another body mounting system, but the heavy-duty parts you can leave on because Salvas made those all legal in October of 2024. Okay, the next model I'm going to show you is a newer model. It's 58134-4. You can see it's got a great looking design on the body. The body is the same as the brush one we just looked at. The chassis looks pretty much the same. There is some differences. It'll come with the BL-2S brushless motor and the ESC that goes with it. That'll be mounted right here. I do have those two items out of the car because I am running some tests on them. One of the biggest differences you'll see is it comes with the clipless body mounting system. So you will need to remove this rear mount and this front mount. You'll have to add some post, and you'll have to add a rear mount that you can use clips to mount your Mud Boss body. Another thing you'll notice is that it comes with the BF Goodrich tires. Some guys do like those tires, although I do like the Kumos a little bit better. And the last model I'm going to show you guys is the latest and greatest from Traxxas. It is the Traxxas Slash model number 58334-4. You can see the graphic on the body looks absolutely awesome with the orange and blue colors, and the body design is the same as the others we looked at. The chassis also looks like the same as the others we had looked at, although there is some differences. This has the BL-2S brushless motor in it, and it also has the BL-2S ESC with the black cooling fins and the blue that wraps around the ESC. Does have the BF Goodrich tires, and it also has a clipless body mounting system up front, which you'll need to take off. You'll need to mount the body post in the side, and you'll also need to remove this rear clipless body mounting system. Take that off, and we'll put on a pin-on body mounting system so you can mount up your Mudboss body. Now, some of the new differences, it's got the heavy-duty parts, and that's going to be important because it has the heavy-duty drive shafts, the heavy-duty rear bearing carriers, and it also has the heavy-duty front spindles. And all of those things will be helpful when you're bouncing off the wall. So this is the model here that you're going to want to buy, and that's model number 58334-4. So all the trucks that I showed you on the table here tonight, that's what still could be on the shelves at your local hobby shop, and that's why I wanted to show them all to you. This truck right here, this two-wheel drive Slash with the BL-2S motor and the light-duty parts, that truck has been discontinued. I just looked on the website tonight, and that is no longer available. But it could still be available at your local hobby shop. And another model that's on the Traxxas website, but I don't have here tonight, and very popular with some of you guys, is the Traxxas two-wheel drive Slash kit. It's model number 58314-4. It will also come with the heavy-duty axles, rear spindles, and front spindles. It'll also have the clipless body mounting system, and it'll also come with the BL-2S brushless motor combo. Why you guys want to put together a kit is beyond me. I'll put together a couple of them, and matching up those tiny screws is just mind-boggling to me. That's something that I no longer mess with. I now buy a truck already completely put together, rip out the rear, do what I need to do to the diff, lower it a little bit, and off to the racetrack I go. And so moving forward in all my Mudboss setup videos in the future, I will be using model number 58334-4. So if you're asking me which one to buy, this is the one. I will have a shopping list in the description box below for you guys. If you buy this model right here, you will need a rear body mounting kit, and that's number 1914R, and it sells for about $6. And to build my Mudboss cars, I always use the Horizon Hobby DTXC 2613. It's the 3-inch black body mounting post. They sell for $4.95. During the Mudboss build, you will need a front bumper, this turn down bumper right here, per the Salvus Mudboss rules, and that's part number 2735, sells for like $1. Okay, so this next product, some of you guys are going to be wondering, do I really need this? No, you don't really need it, but this is the WITZ, W-H-I-T-Z, RC Racing products, and this is ceramic bearings. They sell for $86.95. I'm not sponsored by my hobby shop, and I'm not sponsored by this company right here, but I do use their bearings, and they work well in my car. The reason why I use ceramic bearings is because you can run them dry. I did a video on how to cut the seals on the bearings. That does reduce friction, does help speed up the car a little bit, but when you do that, the oil and the grease leaks out, and oil and grease does attract dirt, which does increase friction, so that's why I use the ceramic bearings. This next product I use in every single one of my Mudboss cars, and this is shock limiters, comes from RacingDots.com. They come in different colors, and the different colors represent different sizes that you can use inside the shocks. So you don't have to remember what size you used, all you have to do is remember what color you used. Now limiters lower the ride height of the chassis, and by doing that, that also helps improve handling. When the car's way up here, it rocks back and forth and side to side, and you have a poor handling car. But you can fix that by installing these shock limiters. And you spell that RACINDOTS.com. That's RacingDots.com. Love this product here. You guys probably think that I'm sponsored by these guys, but I'm not. I pay full price just like you. As a matter of fact, these tires here cost right around $100. But if you want to do one thing to make your car faster, put on a good set of tires, and I get them from PRP Tire Solutions. And then I also touch them up with a little bit of Papa Willie's traction compound. This tire here is the Kumo. It is half cut, and it is standard compound. I use that on high bite tracks. I also have a set of the S1 compounds that I'll use on loose dirt. Next thing you'll need to buy is a body, and this is an actual Salvus Mudboss body. I bought it off of eBay a couple years ago. That's where you can buy the Salvus Mudboss bodies. You may be able to find a couple hobby shops that sell them too. This is one option right here. Some tracks will allow you to run an exact clone body of the Salvus body, or they'll allow you to run a Northeast Dirt modified looking body, just as long as it's not too far out of the bounds of the Salvus Mudboss body. It's got to look like a Northeast Dirt modified car. And this is the body from jbodyrc.com. A friend of mine actually started this company and later sold it. And the guy who owns it now is a really good guy. He actually sent this body to me, although you can see that I use it up pretty hard. Soon time for a new one. And when you go to jbodyrc.com, you can purchase your body and it'll look just like this. You'll have to put it together and put on your own graphics. So let's talk about this a little bit. Do you really need to go out and spend money on a builder prepped motor? The answer is no. You used to have to if you're running in the 12T class because there was a couple guys out there that really knew how to make those brush motors go. But with the introduction of the new BL-2S motor, pull it right out of the box, right out of the car, put it in your car, and if you have a good setup, you're going to find yourself at the top of the charts without spending the money. That's the good part. So you're probably wondering, okay, why are you sitting in here in front of a dyno? You don't have to run out and buy a dyno. I did this because I want to put it on the video for you guys so we can test the different motors, test the different batteries, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But no, you don't have to buy a dyno. I am going to find the fastest motors that I have in my batch and take them to the big races, and maybe hopefully that'll be an edge. We'll find out, and you're going to see it on the videos coming up. Okay, this next subject's going to tickle you guys a little bit because Traxxas came out with a hard case battery, a 5200 milliamp hour, but it's a 35C. I don't know why they just didn't make a 50C because all the rules for Mudboss state you have to run a 50C battery. Now, you should be able to run this because it's a little less in C rating. It's only a 35C. I used to run Traxxas batteries. You know what? They were just as powerful as the 50C batteries. And they were 5800. So a little bit more in the gas tank, but a little less in the punch. Now, these new Traxxas batteries, the 5200 35C, come with the Traxxas connector. They don't have a balance lead on. So that means you have to use the Traxxas charger. And do I recommend beginners to buy this battery? Yes. Do I recommend they buy the Traxxas charger? Yes. Why? Because number one, they don't know a whole lot. They don't know how the batteries work, how to charge them, how to discharge them. So that's why I would buy the Traxxas battery and the Traxxas charger if you're new. I started out with the Traxxas battery. I started out with the Traxxas charger. And when you first buy everything, you're not sure how long you're going to stay in racing. So it's fine. Go ahead and buy the battery, buy the charger. Will this work as good as the others? Yes, it did for me, and I think it will for you too. And then later on, you can decide how much money you want to put into a different type of charger and a different type of battery. But until then, this is a great choice right here. And another battery that I like, I am sponsored by these guys also. It's Z Battery, 5200 milliamp hour 50C battery, and they have worked just fine for me in the past, although they do not have that low resistance that racers are looking for. And another battery that worked out really well for me in the Mudboss is the ProTech RC LiPo 5200 milliamp hour 50C battery, although this did not have the low resistance I was looking for. And the battery that does have the low resistance that I'm looking for is my buy once, cry once choice. This is the SMC 5200 milliamp hour 50C battery, the Mudboss battery. And this is the one that I'll use in my Mudboss every race night. This does provide me with the power that I'm looking for. And another reason why you should join and become a member of the Ovalrc YouTube channel is because I will be doing a members only video and testing all these batteries here on the dyno and see which one comes out on top. We got to the time of the video where things start getting really expensive and opinions really start to matter. Now, when you buy a brand new Traxxas / truck brand new in the box, you will get the Traxxas TQ Top Qualifier 2.4 gigahertz radio with it. And you know what? This radio works perfectly fine for a beginner. And this was a super reliable radio for me. I used it probably for about a year before I bought another radio. The biggest problem with this radio is it doesn't have a dual rate knob, so you can turn down the steering a little bit when you're racing on the ovals. But it is a very reliable radio, and it's perfectly fine for a beginner, and you don't have to run out and buy another radio. Okay, so the next couple of radios we're going to talk about is where the cost factor really kicked in. I spent a lot of money on a lot of different radios till I found out the one that I really like now. So I started out with the Spectrum DX5C, and I actually bought 3 of these because the first one, the scroll wheel was stuck, the second one had brownout problem, and the third one actually started becoming, it would unbind itself from the receiver every now and then. But a lot of guys do use this radio still, and they do win races with this radio. So Yeah, it's still very popular, and it's really not that expensive. I think it's a couple $100. Seems to work okay, but again, like I said, I'm on my third one, so I don't use this radio anymore. The next radio I'm going to show you is one that I really had better hopes for, but this is the Futaba T4PM, and this one here cost me a lot of money because I had it for a short amount of time. I bought a lot of receivers. I had runaway issues with this radio. This did not work for me at all, and that's what I think of that radio right there. Next, the next radio I had really high hopes for. This was sent to me by Radio Master, so I didn't have to pay for this one here. But this is the MT12 that everybody was talking about. And this is an open source radio, so this is still has a long way to go for people to learn yet and figure it out, and maybe the company to make a little bit better before I would recommend this to anybody. But I'll tell you what, I do have a top-of-the-line radio now, and this feels almost as good as that top-of-the-line radio. The only problem I had with it was that you got to program everything. That took about a week till I figured that all out. And then the dual rates didn't feel quite the way I liked them. So this Radio Master MT12 would probably be my next choice, although if something went wrong with it, it would get really complicated really quick, and you don't have that kind of time at the racetrack. And one day at the racetrack, you could lose a lot of points or a lot of money, so this would not be my choice for racing. I do use this on other vehicles, though. So when it comes to transmitters, yes, this is the buy once, cry once item right here. I'm not sponsored by Sanwa. They didn't send this to me for free, and this cost $599. But you know what, guys? This radio is absolutely awesome, has super low latency, feels great in my hand, and it has never let me down. And that's very important. You know, when I bought this radio, I was researching Futaba 7PX, I believe it is, not sure the exact model number, and I was researching this radio here. YouTubers like Ryan Harris said that this is the best radio he ever felt, and he never felt so connected to the car like he does with the M17. And I feel the exact same way. When I'm using this radio, I feel really connected to the car, and that's why I like this radio here. Another reason why I like this radio is because I use a lot of different radios when I'm doing YouTube review videos, so I forget what the buttons are. I grab a hold of a button, it lights right up on the screen, tells me what I'm adjusting, so it's like I never stopped using it. I really do like that. I would highly recommend you guys run out and get yourself a Sanwa M17 because it is the best radio I ever held in my hand while racing RC cars. Okay guys, so I'd like to disclose at this time that Traxxas did send me the Traxxas / two-wheel drive truck, and they sent me this charger here, but that's not the reason why I'm recommending this to a beginner. I'm recommending this because this is an easy charger to use, it's powerful, and it'll charge 2 batteries at the same time. And more than likely, a beginner is going to have Traxxas batteries, and they're going to have the Traxxas charger. This is the 3 times faster Easy Peak Live dual charger, 26 plus amps, 200 watts. When I first started, I think I used the Traxxas 5 amp or 8 amp charger. It's very slow. This is going to be a nice, powerful charger for the beginner. And the last item on my buy once, cry once list, you guys can see it's well used. Many of you will not disagree with me on this choice here. This is the Junsi iCharger, the 4010. It'll charge 2 batteries at one time. It's very powerful discharger too, built right into the charger. You do not need an external discharger with this charger right here. You will need an external power supply, and that costs roughly about $160, $200. The charger itself will cost about $350, $400. Yes, very expensive investment, but well worth it. You do not need the case. The case is extra. It's from Progressive RC, and I'm sure that's expensive too. The cables, you will need those, and they are extra. Not very expensive, though, when you buy the cables. This is something I highly recommend. It is difficult to use. It's not very user-friendly until you get used to it. And this is the iCharger, the 4010. Okay, well, this is all fine and great, Mark. How much is this going to cost me to go racing, right? That's got to be the question. Okay, well, if you're a beginner, you're going to need a truck. So it's $270, $170 for the charger, $80 for the battery, $10 for the spacers, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. Front bumper, $1, $5 for the body post, $6 for the rear body mounting kit, $80 for the body, $100 for the body wrap, coming to a total of $722. And you're still going to need a transponder, so that's roughly $100. So you're looking at $822 to start out with a Mudboss car to go Mudboss racing. Whoa, whoa, I want what's on the table. I want the buy once, cry once list. How much does that cost? I got to figure it out for you. $270 for the truck, $650 for the charger and the power supply, $80 for the battery, $10 for the shock spacers, $1 for the front bumper, $5 for the body post, $6 for the rear body mounting kit, $80 for the body, $100 for the wrap, $600 for the radio, $100 for the tires, and $80 for the ceramic bearings. Brings it to a total of $1,982. And you still need a transponder for $100, so that's going to put it to $2,082 to have what I have right here sitting on the table. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I know it costs a lot of money to go race, and imagine how much money it cost me along the way to get to where I got now, spending it all on wrong stuff before. So hopefully I save you guys some money. Don't forget you can become a member of the Ovalrc by going to the home page, click join, and choose the option that you would like to become a member. And there will be members only videos. There will be members only Mudboss setup videos. We'll be at the racetrack. We're going to make adjustments to the car, like the shocks, the limiters, the ride heights, different gearing. We're going to try it all and see if it makes a difference or not to the car at the racetrack. And I hope that'll help you guys out and help you get faster. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I'm Mark with the Ovalrc. We'll see you next time.